What's up, everybody? Welcome to the High Level Husband Podcast. I'm Solomon McCollister, once again joined by my wife, Diane.
Hey.
So, guys, thank you. Just wanted to just jump in and say thank you, everybody who has been supporting the podcast. Is really growing right now, and it's just really cool what's happening behind the scenes and what we're going to be doing is bringing on bigger and bigger guests and all the different stuff. But lives are being changed, and that's what it's all about. So, today's topic that we're going to touch on is finances, and this is a touchy topic for a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
because I think the number two desires in life, babe, for people are finances and then like sex in those two things, those two areas, right? And there's so many nuances that play a part into both of those. But finances and marriages are really looked at in different ways. And I know from me and you, we saw our finances in a completely different aspect. It was like making money to survive and consume and then save for retirement. Like that was like our three focuses of money, and it's so like backwards. Like we didn't realize we were missing the mark because that's like probably 98% of at least people listening to this podcast. That's what it is. Like make money to survive, to consume, enjoy, and then have retirement. And all of that is wrong.
Oh yeah, totally. And now it's like, how can we use it as tools, and how can we use it as for the kingdom?
Right. And so, guys, we're going to break that down of like why it is, because money, when we started growing as a couple, we're going to give you the 5 areas how we invest our money now. It drastically changed our lives. But money, when you really get an eternal perspective, and the Bible's really clear on this, do not store up your treasures on earth, but store up treasures in heaven, which means there's treasures in heaven. Everybody's experience in heaven is not going to be identical. Everybody's going to be a little bit differently. It's going to be amazing, but it's going to be a little bit different. And because you're storing up treasures there. Now, most people, it's like, okay, I got to make money to pay my rent, my car payment, all these other things. I'm trying to like consume, go out to dinner, buy myself things to find fun and all that other stuff. And then as long as I have security for my retirement, then I'll get to 65 and then I'll retire. And that's like the most miserable life ever, because one, you're trying to survive. And then if you have a money more than that, you're consuming to try to find happiness, which will never be enough. And then when you get to retirement, you realize that retirement's a facade, and that's not biblical. Retirement's not biblical. It's till the day we die. Let us finish the race. And then so you get there and you're like, well, what was that all for? I just gave up all my life to have money to sort of live off of, to consume, which didn't do it, and then to have a retirement, and now retirement sucks. And it's like, whoa, I missed the mark drastically on
And
all that.
on top of that too, it's like sad to say, some people don't make it to retirement. They don't make it to that age, I mean, in this world, I mean, you could get in a car accident, you could do anything. And it's like so many people hold out for retirement. They don't live life or do things for the kingdom, or, all of those things. And then that age comes when they think they should be retiring, and they don't even make it to that age. And so then they just missed all their life of making impact and doing things and finding happiness, but also doing things for the kingdom, and it's gone.
Yeah, because it's like, are we not enjoying life? And I was just talking about this with somebody earlier today. It's like a lot of people get into jobs for, again, those 3 things. How can I provide for my family? How can I consume to give them a good life, which is a lie, to give that they have things make for a good life. And then so I can consume to try to make me happy, go on vacations, because I work Monday through Friday and I hate Mondays, but I live for the weekends and I live for vacations, and I need to consume to do that. And then eventually one day I'm going to be able to retire. And it's like, well, what about all of this? Like, let's say you live to 80 years old, 85, you still need to retire at 65, you have 20 years. Well, if you don't invest in the things that we're talking about right here, those last 20 years are going to be miserable. And then your whole life is going to be miserable. Like, ask yourself, are you really fulfilled right now? It's like every day the best day of your life. Is it getting better and better? Is your marriage getting better? Is the sex getting better? Is your relationship with your kids getting better? Is your friends growing? And all these other things. Are you just happy, healthier, and holier as you get older? It should be in those aspects. It was like we were just on a mission trip last weekend in Mexico, and we're going to get these 5 tips in just a second. But one of our clients came with us. He's 59 years old, and the dude is absolutely jacked and shredded.
And I don't know what he looked like previously, but he looks better than most people do when they're like in their 30s,
Dude, totally.
Yeah.
And there was a guy there who was like 63, maybe he was 65, and you would have thought there was 25 years difference in that. The guy was overweight, looked extremely old, all of that stuff. And it's like, dude, It's a choice. It's a
Hmm.
choice. And so we're going to dive into these things and we're going to break them down, why they're so, what money's given to us for that tool, as you mentioned earlier. And here's how we've started investing in it. We just never did that before. It was all, you guys have heard our testimony in our 8-year wilderness period. We had, I don't want to say unlimited money, but compared to where we were at that time, an unlimited amount of money, free time, and we hated our life because more so, I think, on my aspect, but it was like it didn't buy any of those happiness. And we started using money for the other way. And guys, what was cool is when we got out of that wilderness period, our finances were gone. God stripped us down to nothing.
Hmm.
When we moved and stuff, it took like all of our money and all these other things. And so it wasn't like, oh, well, we still had all that money. And then we just started investing in these other aspects.
Hmm.
Hopefully you're in a spot where you still have that money. And if you don't, that's okay. We were down to nothing 5 years ago and we just bought somebody a house in Mexico last week. So it's like, it's crazy what can happen on
Yeah.
those things. And so number one, I'm going to start at the top to the most important of what I feel like these are. Number 5, what we invest our things in is experiences, not things, right? So we choose presence over possessions, babe. We invest in experiences
Hmm.
more so than like we really need all this nice stuff that we
Hmm.
have. You guys hear me joke about this on here regularly, but I literally wear TikTok shoes. Like the clothes I buy a lot of clothes off of TikTok. They're like 10, $15. I buy all that because it's like they look good, they feel good, and I'm good with that. I don't need the designer brands.
It doesn't change our life. When you think about it, so many people spend thousands of dollars on purses and name brand clothes and all these things, but it doesn't change their life 1%, but then they miss out on maybe some experiences or memories that they can make with their family or different things like that because they had to have the nice clothes.
And the experiences that we love is like it's like we went took our family to Hawaii last month, right? It was cool, it was good, enjoyable, but it wasn't life changing. Like our home life was better. Went to Mexico last week on a mission trip. That was better than the Hawaii trip because we were out amongst followers of Christ serving God's people, and it
Hmm.
was so much better. And we were in Tijuana, Mexico, in dirt poor Tijuana, Mexico, and then a month before that we were on Kaanapali Beach in Maui, completely different places, and we enjoyed the mission trip even more so
Hmm.
on all of that. But we have built a life that we love here so much, a simple lifestyle where we couldn't wait to get back from Hawaii just to get back to our life of doing our work because we really enjoy our work. There are no case of the Mondays. I actually like Mondays better than I like Saturdays and Sundays. And I love what we do, but it's about the simple things, playing games with our kids, going on walks, just doing all the stuff that's basically free. That's done it. And so it's experiences. But then when you buy things, when you need to buy things to buy your happiness, well, to do that, you need to have more money. To get more money, typically, now there is a way around this. There's a kingdom way. You have to work more hours,
Right.
and then when you're working more hours, you have less experiences, less time with your wife, less time with your kids, less time with God, less time with kingdom brothers and sisters. And because of that, now you're going to need to make more money, but then you're going to need to keep making more money to buy more experiences because you're not getting filled your cup filled anywhere else. And so you need to now do these things to fill your cup here. So it's really a double-edged sword. It's a trick of the devil. I'm going to have you searching for these things that are going to somewhat fill your cup for a little bit. But it's a bucket with holes in the bottom and eventually goes out,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna have you work a ton to do it. So it's a never ending hamster wheel of it, which is why midlife crises come in those areas.
Yeah, biggest trade trick of the devil, right? To keep you busy by
Busyness,
working more.
distractions.
Distractions, yeah, keep you busy by working more to fill your void with all those materialistic things and experiences that you feel like you have to have.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. So what's really just been so cool is like I used to think we needed these extravagant trips to
Hmm.
make us happy. And it's like, no, like that. I'm not saying they're bad guys and I'm not saying don't take them,
Yeah.
but not at the expense of the cost of needing to work more
Hmm.
or not being able to do any of these other things.
Hmm.
That's why it's the least. And those experiences sometimes are just like having friends over for dinner and just having great meals with them. That right there is so much more impactful than if we were like, dude, let's go to Disneyland. I like a good trip to Disneyland with as much as the next man,
Yeah.
but I enjoy that more, and it's free.
Yeah.
And that's what's really become is like God's designed us to where the stuff that is free is more enjoyable than the other stuff.
Absolutely.
So let's keep it moving. Number 4, health. This is what we were talking about, retirement, but this is also about life. You'll enjoy life far more when your health is there. And so we spend a ton of money. I'm glad we don't have a number of how much we spent, but it would be an insane amount of money
Probably would be a bad idea to know.
on supplements,
Yeah.
hormone optimization,
Yeah.
food, because we eat specific types. Every single aspect of it, our gym membership, um, ice baths, saunas, all the different things, and we spend a ton of money on that. So we take our money and we invest into that. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you do good. But the looking good part of it is like the smallest part. It's how you actually feel. Your body's on point. You have
Mm-hmm.
energy. Your mood's on point. You show up every day. You're not exhausted anymore. You're not stressed as much or at all. And you just show up and you're vibrant
Mm-hmm.
rather than being like, dude, you get off work and you just need to go lay on the couch. Like, why would you need to do that? You still got 5-6 hours of the daylight or day left, bro. Let's go kill it. Let's play with the kids.
Yeah.
Let's have fun with our wife. Let's go make love. But if you and your wife are exhausted and your wife's like too exhausted to have sex tonight, look no further than health.
Absolutely. I mean, so many people, it's like they eat all these carbs and sugars and things, and then you just crash and it just completely ruins your life. But what do people, we always say this so often. People always say, like, but you got to live life, by eating all that nasty stuff and things. It's like, oh, really? We're living life and we feel so good because we take care of our health and we spend money in supplements and things like that. We live life way more than the people that don't.
Yeah. How's that working out for you?
Yeah.
How's that Frappuccino with 800 calories in it and 75 grams of sugar, and you think you're just having your morning coffee, and what you're really doing is just had, especially for women, because that's more of a women's drink, you just had half of your daily calorie expenditure, how much you're supposed to be doing in one drink, and your day has just been getting started. So now you should only have one more meal and you're done for the day. But no, then they're going to do that. Well, then they're wondering why I'm so tired, because you have all the sugar, all the stuff. And it's like, no, because those things shouldn't be there. Do they taste good? Yeah, for 15 minutes. And then you feel like death afterwards. So what do you need? More caffeine or more something to get your energy up. Then you're tired and you're grumpy for your kids. You're grumpy with your spouse. You're tired at the end of the day. Look no further than the coffee that you're drinking with creamer and all this other BS in it. It's like, why do you need sugar in your coffee? Well, it's bitter. It doesn't taste good. Well, then don't drink coffee. Drink something else. Have a caffeine pill.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? There's workarounds around it. Well, I enjoy my morning coffee. Well, then you know what? Then you don't enjoy your husband that much, or you don't enjoy God that much because you're too tired to have time with God at night or to read the Bible. I'm just so tired when I get to bed. I don't have time to read the Bible. Well, look no further than your food that you're putting in your body. Are you optimizing your life? And it's just, this is a whole long topic, but there's a reason why we need to do it today, because we're around Wi-Fi. We're drinking out of plastic water bottles. All of our food have pesticides or preservatives in them, and it's killing our hormones. We need to get them back up to the way that God has developed our body, but society has dociled us down. Why? Because sick people make money.
Yeah, absolutely. We shouldn't even go on to that topic because I know it'll be like a half an hour just on that.
It's the truth, though.
But yes, it's very true.
If the government actually cared about you, they would ban all of the BS. And they're starting now, RFK is starting that stuff, but it's like they'd ban all the BS. You can look at the ingredients in America and you look at the ingredients in Europe for the exact same box of Cheerios is completely different in Europe. The ingredients are different. Why? Because they ban that stuff over there, but America's just like, no, we want you sick.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to get, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's the truth.
Yeah.
And so I don't have a problem exposing the truth. It's the real deal. Yeah. Take care of your body and your marriage will thrive. If you're not physically healthy, your marriage, you're already starting the game, the batting, if this is baseball, with one strike.
Yeah. And it's biblical too. It tells you to take care of your temple.
Absolutely.
And
100%.
so it specifically says it in the Bible. You can't lie with that,
So we've spent a ton of money on that, guys.
Yeah.
And maybe I'd be able to have Jordans if I didn't do that, and buy all these nice other things and buy you bags and, all this other stuff. But it's like, dude, that stuff isn't going to make your life better. No. But the hormones and the health and all these other things and the gym membership and all this other stuff is good. Yeah. It's like when we moved here, like I said, it cost so much money to move here and all that stuff and do all these things and got us down to basically zero. And we walked into Lifetime Gym. Lifetime Gym now costs us $500 a month to go to Lifetime.
Over
$500 a month for our family of four, though.
Yeah.
And when we first got here, it was just me and you going, and I think at the time we were paying like $260 a month. Well, we were used to going to gyms that cost $25 a month.
Yeah.
And when we got here, we looked at other ones, and they were nice and they were cool, but we went to Lifetime and was like, oh, I want to go here. And you were like, we can't afford it. And I said, oh, I'll make it work. So one, it motivated me. But my point of saying that is when I still to this day, and we've been here for 4.5 years, every time I pull up to that Lifetime gym, it's
Mm-hmm.
just beautiful palm trees, amazing resort style. It makes me feel good. Well, when then you're also rubbing elbows with other people who are doing well in
Mm-hmm.
life, so then now you're making alignments or it's just inspiring you. But when we used to go to do the low level gyms, and this is going to sound bad, you're unfortunately there with those type of people who have a low level mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So
And if you don't
surround
love your,
yourself.
sorry, go ahead.
This is, you got to surround yourself with the right type of people
Yeah.
of it. Now, if that's what you can afford right now, dude, go to those gyms. There's nothing
Mm-hmm.
wrong with it. I'm just saying you put yourself in places around people like that and it will rub off on you.
Yeah. And if you don't love your gym, you're less likely to go. I
Exactly.
mean, we enjoy going to Lifetime, and so it
Every
makes
time I'm
us want to
stoked.
go. It's like exciting to go to the gym in the afternoon.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And so I know people are going to get rubbed wrong by that, but it is what it is. Somebody explained this one time, and I've heard this thing. They said flying first class, which we've never done.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they said that one of the reasons I fly first class, even though it's way more expensive, is not because I'm uncomfortable in those seats back there. Now, if it's a longer flight, it is uncomfortable. But if it's an hour or 2 hour flight, it's not that big of a deal to sit in one of the regular coach
Mm-hmm.
seats compared to first class. And they said one of the reasons why I do that is because then the people I'm sitting next to in first class are other people who are going to most likely think like-minded like me,
Mm-hmm.
because they're paying this price point to be there. And because of that, we're going to have high level conversations. Maybe he introduces me to somebody and says, you need to meet this person. I say they need to meet this person. Maybe we become friends and we start alignments or whatever it is. You're putting yourself in these opportunities to be around other people like that. We've yet to fly first class. I still have a hard time wrapping my mind around paying that much more for it, but it is a way to do it in those things, on those aspects. And typically, because everywhere we go, we got a family of 4 and we bring our kids pretty much everywhere where we go with us for the most part, that
It's just not worth the money.
to fly them first class now
Yeah.
for me and you, it
Yeah.
probably might be worth it. Um, let's see here. So the next one, guys, is a kingdom focused community. This is when our life really, it was like this. I don't know if you guys are watching this or listening, but our life was on a nice slow incline trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
When we were in our wilderness period, in our normal life, it was barely growing, if not dying, because we weren't around the right type of people.
Mm-hmm.
Then when we moved here, it was nicer because we got into the gym and just we're in a nicer community of Henderson versus Eureka, California. And it was, so it got better. So it uplifted us. But it wasn't until we paid to be in a mastermind,
Mm-hmm.
and there was originally it was 20 people in it, but eventually on the second iteration it got down to about 12 to 14 people,
Mm-hmm.
and we paid to be in it. The price tag, I think it wasn't nothing crazy. It was like $1,000 a month we paid to be in that. And guys, when we were paying that $1,000 a month, that wasn't like, oh hey, we got an extra $1,000 to spend. No,
That was a lot of money for us at the time.
that was like, yeah, put us into like negative to be in it, but we were like, I need to be in this group.
Yeah.
Well, what did it do? It eventually catapulted us to where we do.
Mm-hmm.
Getting around other kingdom minded people gets you around people who think bigger, show you possibility,
Yeah.
introduce you things, show you systems and processes for your habits in your life, but also pour into you, encourage you, love on you so much better than other people will. And you start seeing that they're not spending their money to consume, they're spending their money to impact the kingdom, to grow their families, to all these other things. And you're like, I've never been around people like this.
Yeah. And I'd say that was the biggest thing that changed our lives to this day, because it still does all the time, every day. I mean, when you're around people that you have things in common with, and not just things of like going to drink beer, like you can talk about kingdom topics and stuff, growth driven topics. That's what changes your life. That's what makes you happy. That's what makes you excited for life,
Yeah. Yeah, no, well said. And that's when it was like really big for you, because I've told the story
Mm-hmm.
on here before, but it was a men's community. And I said, guys, I'm going to join, but only if Diane can come too, because we were living in Vegas, we still are. And this was in Dallas, Texas. And they said, yeah, somebody's got to be the first to ask. And so she would fly out there with me. It was once a month. And we went out there 16 months in a row. And every single time, I don't say every time, I'd say probably 12 of the times you came.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, she didn't get to go to the actual mastermind, but in the morning and the evenings and the day after it was done,
Mm-hmm.
we would hang out with these other men. Well, then those men started seeing that Diane was coming. They started bringing their wives. Well, then Diane had other amazing women around her. And so we just started doing that. And when I really saw an uptick in you, because you got to be around all these other people, it wasn't, and because your husband was growing as well,
Mm-hmm.
you got to be around it. There was nothing more impactful in my life than being in a group like that. And then I ended up building that for our own community of coaching people, clients. And then I have also an in-person community here, which God has built because I became a person who could attract that. And not because I'm so cool, but just when you start leveling up,
Mm-hmm.
you level up the people who want to be around you and you want to be around. I spoke this on a lesson earlier today for somebody or for our community, is that God's going to then place you, because you're being your authentic self, with somebody else who's being their authentic self, and your pieces are going to fit together to expand the kingdom because you
Yeah.
have something different than them. And so that's what really had is when we got in this group, everybody had different talents and abilities. And so we were the marriage coaches. Somebody else was
Mm-hmm.
a different type of coach. And it was just, or the other person, they weren't coaches, they owned businesses or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it was. Some of them are W-2 employees. Everybody had different talents and traits, different struggles and different weaknesses. And we
Yeah.
all helped each other, but it was about that. And so that right there, we spent that money. And for the first 4.5 years that we were up until about 2 months ago, we kept one car in our family, went for a family of 4, because we sold our car originally to get into coaching.
Yeah.
And all those months, that $1,000 payment could have got us a car,
Yeah.
a second car. Would
Yeah.
have been more convenient. Yes. But it wouldn't have benefited our life at all. Zero. It'd have been more convenience for you than betting for our life. And that's where so many people go, yeah, but we got to think logically. We need a second car, or well, we got to give the kids this nice life. Well, dude, our kids got a million times better life now because they're around parents who literally leveled up probably 10 times,
Mm-hmm.
if not more.
Yeah. I would say that community is absolutely 100% hands down the thing that catapulted me and started the upskill of changing my life for sure.
Totally. But so many people, it's like, no, but we got to have this vacation, or we got to have the car, or we got to have the Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu. We got to have all that. We enjoy going out and eating. We got to have that. And I got to have this, and I got to have that. And it's like, well, then we got to save for retirement. Who cares about saving for retirement? If your life sucks and you're showing your kids what a terrible life is and your marriage is falling apart, I ain't even tripping on retirement.
Yeah.
I'm not even tripping on it. We had zero money going to retirement these past 4.5 years. But guess what? Now God's expedited our life so much that we can almost pay for our retirement in the next 3 years and just fund our whole next retirement. And that, because guess why? Because we put ourselves in this moment. That's why the Bible says, therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. But only if you do the verse that's right before it, where it says, seek first the kingdom of God and all of his righteousness, and all of these things will be added to you. Well, you know what people seek first? Retirement. People seek cars. People seek momentary pleasure and all that stuff because they're trying to set up their IRA instead of setting up themselves for a great life, great marriage, and great kingdom, and setting up rewards in heaven. We were talking about this yesterday with our coach yesterday. A kingdom 401k, not an earthly one. People, we gotta have the 401k, man. We gotta have retirement. It's like, bro, why are you tripping out? Yes, like I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but not above anything else. If you have no community around it, pay to get in it, and screw your 401k. Get it out of your life and pay to be in a community, and your community will make you way more money than ever. But you know what's going to bring you? Joy, peace, and happiness and longevity.
Yeah.
And dude, it's like, it just drives me nuts. It just shows the world's, like I said, the world's thing on this, babe, is go to high school, go to college, get yourself in extreme debt, waste all those years of your life, get married, have 2 kids, a house, a picket fence, work your butt off in a miserable life, miserable marriage till you're 65, retire, and then hate your life. And it's like, that's the thing. And it's just killing people. At 40, your wife's cheating on you, or you're cheating on her. You need the sports car. You have all this. You have a midlife crisis. Why? And there's nothing in the Bible that says, hey, you're supposed to have a midlife crisis, but everybody has it because of all, they got it wrong. They're doing the order that the world says. Do not conform to the patterns of the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. 85% of men struggle with porn addictions. Guess what? 85% of marriages are struggling right now. But 85%, I guarantee, are doing that formula of, hey, man, I got to prepare for retirement because that's what they said I'm supposed to do. Who said that you're supposed to do it? Well, my parents. How's your parents' marriage working out for you? Was it amazing? Was it killing it? Did they have amazing friends? Did they thrive? Were they laughing and joking? Some. Man, it just fires me up because people are missing the mark. And we're changing that. Get after it, people. Stop freaking believing the government or the school system that's lying to you, that told you the food pyramid was healthy for you, that told you you needed to do all this, that told you to get a vaccine, that told you to do all of this stuff. And you just said, well, they said it's a good idea, so I better do it. And it's like, well, no, you're blind leading the blind, as the Bible talks about on that. And I get fired up, guys, because I've been on the other side of this and I'm watching people's lives change. Let's go. Next one. Personal coaches. So guys, we have a personal coach and we've spent literally an insane amount of money. Our coach that we work with right now, we pay $2,500 per call with him.
Yeah.
Per call.
Yeah. And not to mention all of the amount of money that we have spent on coaching over the years.
Right.
Like we could have almost bought a house.
but we would have a house that would be empty would be filled with broken people and broken kids and stuff that doesn't bring happiness.
Absolutely.
That's what fires me up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tough. It's tough to pay that chunk. We send them a $5,000 every month. Ding, 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 to talk to them twice a month.
Mm-hmm. But it's 100% worth it.
After every call, we're like, oh, cool. Implement that. Boom, boom, boom. We just leveled up. Yeah. I take that. I teach it to us. I teach it to our kids. I teach it to my Bible study. I teach it to my community. I level and I use it to pay it forward.
Mm-hmm.
I could take that $5,000 and go on literally a vacation every single month. That vacation is not making my life 1% better. Is not making my marriage 1% better. None. Zip.
But the coaching
Zilch.
will.
Zilch,
That's
guys.
what people don't understand is that I feel like every single person in the world needs a coach.
100%.
How do we grow? We grow by learning things from other people. We grow from somebody higher than us. What's the thing that you say everybody
Paul,
needs?
Barnabas, and a Timothy.
Yeah. Everybody needs a Paul.
So where are you learning from? Oh, you're learning from Fox News, CNN, all the other BS things that you waste your time learning on that's just pumping fear and lies into your life.
Yeah, that's not a Paul.
And that's just convincing you that that's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're learning all the BS from that instead of learning from a coach.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't think it's important to have a coach, then pull your kids out of school right now because they're having somebody teach them, right?
It's basically a coach.
That's all it is. But unfortunately, what's getting taught to them in school is just a waste of time.
Yeah.
And so why are you not having that until the day you die? It isn't all of a sudden because you turn 18 that you no longer need a coach.
Mm-hmm.
You need somebody who has authority and in an area that's above you, that has fruit in that area, that's farther ahead, to show you the route.
Yeah.
Is there plenty of podcasts like this that are giving you the information? Absolutely. Is there plenty of free YouTubes? For sure. Can you grow from all that? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Is there a faster way around the mountain? Yes, from having that coach. And I would rather have that than go to Hawaii every single month. Oh, we're just going to Hawaii every single month, or we're going to go do this. And maybe I have myself a dope sports car and all of that. We finally got a second car 2 months ago, and I've driven it probably 7 times.
And I've never driven it.
And it's just like, it's sitting there.
I know.
And it's a nice car.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's a little bit more convenience because our finances are in a spot where it wasn't an issue to have the second car payment. So we were like, okay. And we still have our coach. We still have the communities. We still have all these other things that we're investing in. So it's not replacing one of those things, right? If you are not, show me your finances and I'll show you where your life is at. I'll show it to you.
Yeah.
Show me your time, your schedule, and where you spend your money, and I'll show you where your life is at.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah. Just as you're saying, like those vacations and stuff. So you spend like 5 days on vacation. That didn't change your life. That was 5 days. Then you come back and it's like you're home for months before you take another trip. Unhappy.
And you're like, where can we go on our next trip? And then you're like, we're going to have to work a ton on this. And we're going to wait for that. Can't wait till 5 months from now until we can go again. What about 5 minutes from now?
Yeah.
5 hours from now that you're just living this amazing life.
Let's enjoy that. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like now we get to travel. So we were in Hawaii. That was a vacation. Then we went on a mission trip. And then now that was last weekend. In 2 weeks from now, we're going to Florida for 4 nights, and I'm going to speak at a conference out there. They're obviously paying for all that to come out there, right? So it's like we get to do these things now. Before, I used to have to earn the money to do those things, but when you do it the right way, people will pay for all of that for you. It's crazy.
But that's hence the point of spending money on coaching and getting into the right circles of people too, and just growing yourself to be able to be in those circles.
Seek first the kingdom of God and all of his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you.
Yes.
But people don't see it because they don't seek God first.
Yeah.
Show me your time and show me your treasures, and I'll show you if God's first in your life.
Yeah.
It's very clear.
Yeah.
Lastly, tithing. This is a huge one.
Yeah.
We give an insane amount of money to tithing, and it's not a flex or anything because it's biblical. So we do it, and it's God's money. It's not our money. Every single dime that we have is not Tommy and Diane's money. It's God's money.
Everything in our life is God's.
Everything on this whole earth is God's. Your kids aren't even your kids. Our kids aren't even our kids. Those are God's kids who asked us to steward for him.
Same with our money.
So it's for him. Yeah. He's just like, dude, you can keep 90% of it and go do those things. I'm going to give you the wisdom of what you should spend those on. Give me 10 because I want to make sure your heart's in the right place. Now, I believe go above and beyond for the 10 because that's like why do the bare minimum, right? Let's find out what it's like to do way more. Mm-hmm. And Bible's very, very clear on what happens when you put God first in your finances. It says your barns will overflow. Mm-hmm. But that's not why I tithe.
No, we do it. We do it happily, not because we have to.
Totally, 100%. And so that's where I'll just challenge you guys. Is like for so long in our wilderness period, I put a 20 in the plate every single time.
Yeah.
Whether I was balling or we were struggling, it was just a 20 in the plate. That's what it was. I think eventually I went up to 30 or 40, but it was still like, oh, great, cool. I gave $200 that month.
Right.
Like, wow, I'm really putting God first in my finances.
Right.
But I had all the other things.
Mm-hmm. Well, it clearly shows that we weren't putting God first in our whole life at that point then too, because if you were, then you'd easily want to tithe the 10%.
Absolutely. And our marriage would have reflected it. Everything in our life would have reflected it. And so guys, this is where it's at, man. I know I get bold because it's like the world's just going to try to convince you, oh, come on, you don't need to, and I'll tell you about tithing. Somebody in my life, he works for the state of California. And so he's to a certain extent on a salary, and he could work overtime or whatever if he wanted more money, but still there's still only X amount. You're still trading time for money, right? And I was telling him, I'm like, bro, you tithe 10%. And we were in a good conversation. He's like, nah, man. He's like, I mean, I put $20 in every single time. And this dude makes, I think like he's single and he makes like, I think close to $200,000 a year. And he's like, I really can't because I eat a ton of taxes because I'm single and I make that much money. And he's like, so I put 20 in or whatever every single time. And I was like, dude, you put $20 in every time you make, let's say you bring home $110,000, like 20, get it. You live in California where your money doesn't go as far. I get it. But dude's balling. Like he's on trips all the time, all the nicest of things. Like, and he's a great dude. Don't get me wrong. But he said, but dude, here's the difference. I broke it down biblically for him. He says, but yeah, here's the difference. Like if God's going to bless you, and now he's looking at the blessing. He's like, you're an entrepreneur, so he can bless you in those ways. He's like, I'm on a fixed income. God can't bless me in those ways. And I'm like, do you think it's always just finances the way God means your barn's going to overflow? Yeah. Maybe it's overflowing of joy, peace, a woman in your life, kids in your life, friends in your life, opportunities. Maybe somebody does come in your life and is like, you meet somebody and because of that, they want to do a business deal and you end up investing in their company and God's going to bless you because of that. And it's going to go skyrocket through the thing. Maybe that's where you get blessed, even though you're now just a silent investor. I don't know, bro, but your limited mindset says I can't get blessed because I work a fixed income.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the biggest things. People always think that it's always about being blessed with money and they can't be missing the mark more. Sometimes, yes, absolutely it is. Or like you just said, you get connected with somebody that ends up making you money. But look how many things that we could be blessed with. I mean, we're blessed with enough already as it is, but
yeah, it's so many other things that it can be.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, just give God it. It was so hard in the beginning when we started bumping it up. And there was so many times we tithed a massive number that like,
it's hard to swallow sometimes.
It brought our finances to like a very scary spot.
Yeah.
But because of that obedience, every single month, our life is just like growing.
And God sees that we can be trusted,
He can be trusted with little, can be trusted with many.
Yeah.
And when I say growing, guys, that's not means that I'm making more and more and more and more money every single month. What I mean is the opportunities, the things that are coming, the friendships, the doors that are opening are more and more and more on all those different aspects of our life because we put that first in our life.
Mm-hmm.
God has to be first in your life. And if your finances are like, let me pay my mortgage, my car bill, all of my food bills, let me pay all my subscriptions, let me pay everything that I have, my insurances, X, Y, and Z, put into my IRA. And at the end, if I have some money left over, well, I want to put some into savings, and then I'll give God, a little bit of what's left over.
Right.
God's last.
That's the $20 in the plate,
It says give your first fruits.
Yeah.
It doesn't say give your last fruits.
Yeah.
It says give your first fruits. First fruits, guys. First fruits. So that shows that God's last in your life. Well, what's the order of life? God says the number one commandment, not suggestion, the number one commandment is to love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and all your strength. That's the number one. He didn't say, suggest that and make it last. No, God's number one. Do that first.
Mm-hmm.
Seek the kingdom of God and his righteousness first. That's in your finances too. And all these other things will be given to you guys. And it's like, man, it's not just about the gifts. Because I care. It's not about the gifts. It's about the gift. If you got nothing from God ever again, you got enough from him because he died on the cross for you.
Right.
You can walk away from the salvation, but even let's say you're not, you get to go to heaven, which is going to be so much better than ever. You're going to die. I don't care if you lived to 99. You're going to die no matter what, unless you're here when Jesus returns.
Yeah. Then you'll have eternal gifts.
Forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
But if you're stingy with your finances here and you make it into heaven, guess what? You are going to have less than other people who are stacking up treasures in heaven.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, that's selfish of them. That's greedy of them. If God says to do that, it's a commandment. That's like you telling your kids, hey, son, if you go and do this, I'm going to give you this. Then the kid's saying, well, I don't want to. No, Father, that's not right. And he's not going to do it because that's greedy of me. No, I'm giving you permission. No, that's greedy of me. No, I'm telling you to. That's what God's telling us.
Right.
So why not go store it up? I'm trying to ball out in heaven, right? I'm trying to stack it up.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the why I just want to be in heaven, I just want to be near God.
Absolutely.
And I'm 100% okay if that's tonight that God takes me and takes me to heaven.
Yeah.
I could care less about dying. So many people are fearful of it. I said on the last podcast, I'm going to say it again, that the real tragedy is not, that believing that death is a tragedy is the real tragedy, not the death.
Yeah. Not that I want to leave this earth and my life and my kids and my family and you and whatever, but I'm excited to go to heaven and I hope I make it there.
Amen.
Yeah.
So guys, this is going to be like different, right? On those aspects.
Yeah.
This is not what most podcasts tell you. It's like, just, sit knee to knee with your wife and ask and then listen and then do all this other snooze fest BS that don't work. That don't work to fix your marriage.
Yeah.
That's why 85% of marriages are struggling. If all that other BS worked, it would be fixed.
But the 85% isn't doing all of those things that we just talked about.
Nobody's telling you this.
Yes.
Nobody's telling you this.
Yeah.
We're telling you the model that works, right? So if you want to come into the coaching program as in our community, we have a savage group of community, come in. It's going to take a financial investment. Yeah. You should rejoice in that. What you pay for, you pay attention to.
Yeah.
Have that community been that we went to in the beginning been free, we wouldn't have gone every month because we'd have been like, I can miss it, no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
You pay for it.
Yeah. The consistency of being around the people is what changed our lives.
And also, guys, we're putting on a marriage retreat. We're opening it up first to our clients in our community. Mm-hmm. And so if that's you and you want to come, it's only going to be 8 couples. And it's going to be in Las Vegas at an amazing, amazing house. You're going to stay there. You're going to have your own room with your wife. And it's going to be, there's 4 coaches that are going to be there. And it's going to be real, raw, and relentless. And it's going to change your life like no other. If you want to come, DM us on social media, Tommy McCallister or Diane McCallister, and mention the event personally, or just shoot us an email at highlevelhusband.com or highlevelhusband@gmail.com. About the event, and we can get you in. Again, that will be an investment to come, but it'll be 100% worth it.
Absolutely.
And then, guys, if you just want to listen to the podcast, dude, share it with your friends, share it with other people, share it with your spouse, and rate it 5 stars. It means the world to us, guys. And
Mhm.
if you're on YouTube, if you want to give this us a subscribe, it really does mean the world to us.
Yeah.
Uh, I know we can be hard on here because it's just out of love. We're here to disrupt and offend because we want you disrupting the world's ways. So God bless y'all. We love you.
Bye.